Thank you for joining us again on our virtual America's Food and Beverage show. Our next session is called Tools for Exporters. And this is where we'll feature the resources for U.S. exporters and Florida exporters and programs to help increase your sales. The panel is going to be moderated by Roberto Muñoz, the chairman of the World Trade Center Miami. And so now I'm going to hand it off to Roberto.
Thank you very much, Ivan. And good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to the Tools for Exporters session. As Ivan said, my name is Roberto Muñoz, and I am the chairman of the World Trade Center Miami. I'm also a 40-year banker and have facilitated many billions of dollars of trade export from the state of Florida, but from other countries going to other countries as well, utilizing the various programs that are out there. Today, we have the pleasure of having three experts joining us to talk about their respective agencies that assist U.S. exporters in locating new business partners globally and finance their transactions. First, we have Manny Mencia, Senior Vice President for International Trade Development at Enterprise Florida, the state of Florida's economic development agency. Manny is responsible for assisting Florida companies in locating business partners abroad, and he will be discussing the many programs Enterprise Florida has for exporters. Manny?
Well, thank you, Roberto, and great pleasure to be here with all of you today. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about Enterprise Florida, which is the official economic development organization of the state of Florida. I always repeat that because unfortunately, we still get phone calls in our office from people that want to rent cars from us. Don't rent cars. What we do is we attract businesses into the state of Florida, and we help Florida companies do international business. We do our a not-for-profit. We're a P3, a public-private partnership, which I like to think combines the best of the private sector and the public sector. We're very much public sector because our organization is headed by the governor of Florida. The governor of Florida is the chairman of Enterprise Florida. But we also have, and all members of the cabinet are part of our board, but we also have a large contingent of senior executives of some of the largest companies in the state of Florida that are on our board of directors and contribute to the mission of making Florida better for everyone. We like to think that we have one of the most robust state export assistance programs in the United States. We have been recognized through the years. Our good friends at the U.S. Department of Commerce who have been kind enough to award us the E Award for Export and also the E Star Award for Export. And by the way, in each case on our first year of eligibility. And we've also been recognized by prestigious institutions like the Brookings Institute that rated us as one of three outstanding state trade development programs in the U.S. So we offer a broad variety of service for Florida exporters. Our specialty are working with companies, small companies, companies of 500 employees or less, the premise being that the larger companies don't need the level of assistance that the little guy requires. We work with companies typically that either manufacture products in Florida, high technology companies, or value-added service providers. Obviously, international business is tremendously important to our state. It contributes roughly 20% of the Florida GDP. And I think more important than that, it sustains close to 2.4 million jobs in our state who pay higher than average wages. And that's extremely important. Companies who do international trade tend to pay between 18 and 30% higher wages, depending on the discipline they're in, than companies who do not do international trade, do not export. And by the way, if you're an employer and you say, but so what is in it for me? Okay, so I pay higher wages. Well, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce, companies that export are more profitable by about 15%. grow a lot faster, also in the neighborhood of 15% annually. So what is there not to like? And last and not least, undisputably, if you do international business, you're going to be more resilient at times of domestic downturns also. So how can Enterprise Florida help us? Okay, let me begin by telling you the majority of our services are free. We offer, if the investment is what a company wants to do or expansion, we offer free and confidential service from A to Z to companies that want to expand in the state. If your interest is in export, we offer, again, a broad variety of services. We work with roughly 3,000 Florida companies every year, a very large number. We have offices in Pensacola, Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Palm Beach, and Miami, which is where our headquarters are. And if you haven't heard your favorite county, let me assure you that each one of these offices has a territory. So every single company in Florida has an Enterprise Florida trade specialist assigned to them. So there's always somebody that you can call. What do we do for you? Okay, we offer everything from confidential counseling, refer. By the way, we do a lot of our work. Let me recognize our colleagues of the U.S. Department of Commerce and also Florida Export Finance Corporation. These are organizations as well as the World Trade Center that we work hand in glove with. And we leverage a lot of the resources of the U.S. Department of Commerce to help our clients. So we help, we offer everything from, counseling, problem-solving assistance. Also, if you're having a problem with your shipping or whatever, or what have you, our trade specialists are there to help you. We also offer, market information, generate leads and share them with our clients throughout the state. But what we're best known for is our international trade events. We do in the normal times, let me use that term, we do between 20 and 30 international events every year. Everything from the largest air shows and life sciences shows to trade missions where we take companies into markets, normally in partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce, and match them one-on-one with potential clients. Most, I think, also of a lot of interest to all of you is that we have a very effective grants program, which is available to Florida companies. Essentially, if you're going into a trade show and you're either new to market or an infrequent exporter, or if you want to go into a trade mission, we have grants that will help you offset either a significant part of the costs of your participation in the trade fair, or even 100% of the cost when it comes to matchmaking. So those programs are available to most small companies in the state of Florida. And you can also always call us and ask us for assistance on and how to apply for them, and we can walk you through the process. In addition to that, Enterprise Florida maintains 18 offices around the world, 18 representative offices around the world. These are performance-based contractors that we contract with precisely to help us attract investment, but also to help our Florida exporters do business in those markets. And by the way, it is an 18 markets that they cover, because usually they also are assigned regions. So we probably have boots on the grounds in something like 40 plus markets around the world, key markets for the state of Florida. To conclude, want to also point something out to you. Since the pandemic began, we have been focusing a lot more of our services, since we can't do trade shows or trade missions, on virtual type events. The marquee event that we're doing is during the period of March 16th to the 18th. We're going to do a virtual trade show, a Florida International statewide virtual trade show, which we're going to promote worldwide. We're shooting for 100 to 150 Florida companies to exhibit in this virtual trade show. We are going to work closely with our colleagues at the U.S. Department of Commerce and other partners around the state to help us promote this show around the world. We're targeting between 5,000 and 10,000 foreign buyers to come in and not only visit the booths. You will be able to set up your own virtual stand, display your products, and not only that, we're offering matchmaking so that you'll be able to meet one-on-one with potential clients your products who visit the trade show. Registration is open right now. If you're interested, please call us. And to finish, let me give you the best news. Essentially, we will support you at this show at no cost to you. There is a registration fee, but Roberto mentioned the grants program. We're offsetting the entire cost of participating, at least from the standpoint of the space and the booth and the matchmaking. All those aspects of the show are 100% free to Florida companies because we will be reimbursing you at the end of the show. The idea is you will pay a deposit to guarantee your participation. And at the end of the show, when you give us your little report, whether you're satisfied or not, etc., we will reimburse 100% of the registration cost that you pay. So we're offering this to Florida companies for free so that we can help our export clients during these very difficult times to find new clients, to enter new markets as we would be doing if in normal times. So if you're interested, please either, if you know our local trade specialists, please call them up, or otherwise you can get my contact information through the World Trade Center or by looking into Enterprise Florida and getting a hold of us. We would love to have you in the show. If you're in the processed food business, if you're in anything related and are participating in this show, the likelihood is you'll be eligible. So please call us and we'll be happy to accommodate you. And thank you, Roberto, and World Trade Center Miami for giving us this opportunity to talk to your clients.
Thank you, Manny. Manny, that was super exciting. I got to tell you, I have been on many missions with Enterprise Florida. They do a fantastic job. They interact with not only the Americans, not only American companies that are actually located abroad, but they look for clients that can help a U.S. company export better and provide the tools necessary for growth to occur, which is really an important function. You mentioned 20% of the state. I will say that the Miami International Airport accounts for 90% of the international cargo coming in through airports in the state of Florida, an unusually large percentage for one airport covering that much trade. So we're very pleased. I want to thank you for your presentation. We might come back for a question, so please hang in there for a minute. And the next person on today, again, very reputable and very strong background, international activity, trade, and business. We have Eduardo Torres, Acting Regional Director, U.S. Department of Commerce, International Trade Administration. The U.S. Department of Commerce has offices throughout the United States that assist U.S. exporters. Eduardo, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Roberto, and thank you to the World Trade Center for providing us with this great opportunity to talk about what we do and how we do it. And as Manny said, we do not do this alone. We do it through partners with Enterprise Florida, with our other federal agencies like Ex-Im Bank and SBA, and of course, with working hand in hand with Daisy Ramos and her office, and many other that probably are listening to these webcasts, where we work very well with the business community, export business community in South Florida, to help companies in the United States, and especially this Tri-County area, to export their products and services. We the commercial service are the eyes and ears of the US government. And we work through our embassies and consulates in probably over 87 countries. Most important, we have 107 offices, like my office here in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, throughout the US, and we help US companies export their products and services and generate economic development through foreign direct investment also. So I know that Manny went into why export is important, and so I'm not going to repeat that. But the way that we work is working and getting to know the companies here in the United States, getting to understand their issues, and what markets they are interested in exporting their products or services. So we work with our offices abroad, our US commercial office at each embassy, and try to find the best potential business partners for these companies, based, of course, on their products and their goals. So wherever we don't have a office, a commercial service office representative, we usually work with the State Department, and that is called for us a partner post. A partner post is where the State Department handles the commercial operation, and they work in coordination with the regional office. Like, for example, in the Caribbean, our regional office is in the Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo. And the rest of the Caribbean region works through this office to serve the inquiries and the requests that we generate for our clients. We work in many different industry sectors. One of the sectors that we do not cover is food products, and I want to make clear that we don't work on food products, but we work on food processing, food packaging, food labeling technology, and also the services sector for food products. So we work with our U.S. Department of Agriculture, Foreign Agricultural Service, which I understand will be talking to you later on, on assisting companies to be successful in the export process. I always say that exporting is not an event, it's a process, and it's very important for all of you companies that are looking to export to understand this process. This is a process where there's documentation, compliance. There's all kinds of logistical issues that a company needs to understand. They are not as complicated as it might look, but it's important for companies to do the due diligence to be successful in the export process. We come in as not only to provide the companies with the market intelligence that they need to be successful, but also with the pre-vetted introductions to potential business partners in many countries around the world. So when Manny talks about how Enterprise Florida generates very successful trade missions, trade shows around the world, we partner with Enterprise Florida and Manny's office to provide the one-on-one matchmaking that is necessary for companies to be successful. Those one-on-one introductions, making sure that we provide the opportunities for network events where you can meet or present, you can meet potential business partners or present on a single company promotion, your product or your service to audience at the ambassador's residence. So there are many opportunities and many services or many activities that we promote and in partnership with Enterprise Florida so that these companies can meet their potential business partners abroad. Some of the things that we've done during this strange period of the pandemic is to reinvent ourselves and use technology like this, the virtual technology, to help U.S. companies enter the markets, because U.S. companies continue to export, continue to do business abroad, continue to look for opportunities in other markets. So one of the things that we have done with the U.S.-Spain Chamber of Commerce, our office in Spain, and the consulate, the Spanish consulate here in Miami, and of course, Enterprise Florida, we organize a virtual trade mission to Spain on the fintech sector. We recently did the ACE, the Automated Export Service, the system, Automated Export System for logistic companies here. And we had an amazing response. We had over 220 companies registered for this virtual event. So we are reinventing ourselves in trying to adjust to the circumstances, but please make sure that you contact us if you are interested in exporting. And if you are looking for business or opportunities in other countries. I think I have met my time. I thank you once again for the opportunity, and I will be here to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Eduardo. I got to tell you that talking about your overview of opportunity, which you mentioned many times, which I'm very excited about. You mentioned a lot about collaboration, which I think is the key to success for any, not only U.S. Agency company, but also in general, collaboration is key to success. And of course, your enthusiasm about opportunity and companies growing through the use of U.S. export tools. So thank you for that, Eduardo. Next, thank you very much. And next up, I didn't say the best for last, but the best is last. And I'll tell you, it's always nice to have our final presenter. You know, Daisy Ramos Winfield is the Executive Vice President of Florida Export Finance Corporation. This corporation, the Florida Export Finance Corporation, provides Florida businesses with information, technical, and consulting assistance and financing for their export transactions. And that's a big statement there when you talk about the financing aspect of that. So this is very, very good. Daisy?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daisy Ramos Winfield. Thank you so much, Roberto, for the opportunity. And I hope that you all are enjoying this wonderful webinar regarding exports and the tools that are needed in order to be successful when exporting. I would like to start my brief presentation wishing our CEO, Steve Fancher, a happy birthday. Mr. Fancher is 80 years old today, and he's also an advocate of the exporting community of the state of Florida for the past 50 years. So Mr. Fancher, happy birthday to you. I would like to talk to you briefly today about the importance of, yes, working with Enterprise Florida, the Department of Commerce of the state of Florida, for market identification and market penetration in trade shows and trade grants. And then working with Eduardo Torres and the U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Commercial Service Unit, in order to also be able to tackle those countries and place those products in the right markets for success. And then comes the question, where is the money? How am I going to be able to satisfy those purchase orders and those contracts with those foreign buyers? Might be private companies, it might be foreign governments. How do I achieve and how do I overcome the challenge of the money? Well, there are many agencies out there available to help you and available to assist you. And I would like to talk about a few of them today. Florida Export Finance Corporation is an instrumentality of the state of Florida. Yes, and we have a mandate, yes. And we are able to help new to exports companies, seasoned companies, or companies that have done some exporting in the past, fell through some cracks due to unavailability of funding, and they want to come back and export again. So regardless of the status of your company as in the export financing department, we are always willing and able to assist you. With that said, we do count with the support of the US federal government. And we do work with, of course, the Export-Import Bank of the United States. We have strategic alliances with the Exim Bank and memorandums of understanding with the US federal government, ECA. So who is the Exim Bank? The Exim Bank has been around since 1934 and is the official export credit agency of the US federal government. And their goal is to support the exporting community of the United States via the creation of jobs, via the creation of tools in order for US companies to be successful. They do have programs, and those programs are divided in 3 sections. They have the Export Credit Insurance Program to protect the US exporter against potential default of a foreign buyer. And those programs are designed to assist exporters based on size. They have different programs from the express to the multi-buyer to the single buyer program, all designed to assist different size exporters with different needs in different countries. They also have loan guarantees, and they also have loans. The loan guarantees are issued to banks and non-bank lenders. Those are promises to pay when banks invest funding and lending opportunities to American exporters. And what that does is it eases the concern of the US banks and US non-bank lenders when deciding to issue revolving lines of credit or installment loans to US exporters in order for them to satisfy those purchase orders. In addition to loan guarantees, they also have some direct loans that they do themselves into specific countries to specific foreign buyers. And those are the 3 programs the Exim Bank offers. Additionally, we do have the SBA, the Small Business Administration. The SBA was created in 1953, and their goal was to create, support, and grow small businesses throughout the country. And the SBA also has 3 wonderful programs to assist US exporters. If your case is that you are a small company and all you need is $100,000 to start, they do have programs for smaller companies. They also have the Express Loan Program, the Export Working Capital Loan Program for mid-sized companies for larger amounts. And lastly, they have the International Loan Program up to $5 million in financing. Eligibility and qualifications do apply. And typically, those loans are handled by the banks and non-bank lenders that are registered to participate with the SBA. Lastly, we do have the Florida Export Finance Corporation. What happens if you don't qualify with the SBA or you don't qualify with the Exim Bank? Well, if you may not qualify at the time, you are more than welcome to join our business incubator, where we are able to take a look at your transaction. We are transaction specific. We can go up to $500,000 in loan guarantees per exporter per year. And we can also satisfy direct loans up to $150,000 per exporter per year. And you heard me right. We are the direct lender as well, and we are approved with the Exim Bank as a direct lender. Some eligibility criteria does apply in all cases. In the case of Florida Export Finance, you must be a Florida registered company, shipping from the state of Florida. The product does not have to be made in the state of Florida. The product does not have to be made in the US, but it must depart. It must be shipped out of the state of Florida via our wonderful ports and airports. The company must meet the definition of SME, small to medium enterprise. And that means less than $6 million in net worth. Yes, the word is net worth, not export revenues. And also the definition of less than 250 employees in the company. Could be a combination of part-time or full-time employees. There is an application process. All equity owners, 25% or more, must personally guarantee the loan. If we are taking a leap of faith with Florida exporters that may not meet the standard definition of bankable, and I'm talking about examples of lack of liquidity, lack of credit history, personal or business, lack of assets, we take a look at the transaction per se. If we can finance a transaction, we can finance you as the US, in this case, Florida exporter. So because we are taking a leap of faith with you as a new exporter, we do require every equity owner of the company, 25% shareholder or more or greater, to personally guarantee the loan. With that said, we offer what we call short-term capital solutions, 30, 60, 90, 120 days, up to 180 days. But we are also the loan originator and packager of the Exim Bank for the medium-term loans. So yes, we take a look at transactions and we pre-qualify transactions where the direct financing may be offered to the foreign buyer itself in order to buy products and or services from you, the Florida exporter. The Florida Export Finance has wonderful associates eager and ready to help you. Regardless if there is a question about export finance, or is it about a loan application, is it about a referral to Exim Bank or the SBA, maybe an exporter that just need to know how to start. We do work with a total of 60 different agencies and organizations at local, state, and federal level. And we may be able to assist you in guiding you in the right direction for your transaction. With that said, I would like to revert back to Roberto and be able to answer any questions that you may have today about export finance. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I got to tell you, by acting like a bank, because there's a certain way you do act like a bank that's funded by in this case, the state of Florida, and facilitating trade, you are growing jobs, you are allowing our state to grow. And I got to tell you, our GDP today, even though we're in coronavirus, is approaching $1 trillion. $1 trillion economy with 20 million people. Spain is an example, if you want to use that as an example, about 1.4 trillion with about 45 million people. So you can see at the state of Florida as a very rapidly growing area. I think our economy would rank the top 15, around there, 17, 15 in the world, just based on the GDP size of our economy. And I know that the Florida Export Finance does a lot to help that grow, and also does a lot to assist people that might be timid. They might be afraid to take on new markets or go in new directions. And yet just over our border, down in the Caribbean and Latin America, sits 750 million people in that whole region that need to be facilitated through goods and services and activities that the Florida Export Corporation can be very instrumental, together with Enterprise Florida and the U.S. Department of Commerce, as a collaborating entities that allow that to happen. I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask each of you. I'm wondering if Manny is still available on the line. I'm not sure if I see him, but there he is, Manny. Manny, again, thanks for telling us about your programs. Enterprise Florida is an incredible resource, as we know, for Florida exporters. Question I have, will Enterprise Florida be conducting trade missions or participating in trade shows next year? I know you talked about the virtual. Are you waiting for the clearance of the coronavirus for travel? I have participated, as I mentioned, in various countries, and you mentioned that you go to 40 countries a year, 30 to 40 countries a year. How do you think the current environment has changed the way you're working?
Well, Roberto, we're eager to get back to our, historical modus operandi. I'm a firm believer that the brick and mortar shows and the one-on-one matchmaking type missions where you go into the markets and meet with clients are the best way to find new clients or to expand your portfolio in markets where you're either an infrequent exporter or have relatively few clients. Unfortunately, most of the shows on schedule obviously for the remainder of this year, but into the first quarter of next year, have either been canceled or postponed. Fortunately, many cases postponed because we had very significant deposits on some of these. So our hope is that perhaps from what we're hearing from the field, beginning in May, you may begin to have a more open environment where you may be able to travel and not have to quarantine and so on and so forth. Those are the essentials in order to be able to do either a show or a mission. Otherwise, you would have to be there for 2 weeks without doing anything before you can do any kind of business. We're kind of targeting the Paris Air Show, which, as many of you may know, is the largest air show in the world. Where Florida historically has had a pavilion. In fact, we historically have had the largest pavilion of any state of the United States there. Possibly as, the first major event that has the likelihood of taking place in 2021. Now, let me go back and say, there are other events on schedule prior to that. I just think, doing events in the first quarter, even through April, it's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to require having a vaccine, Roberto, for that kind of event, large events with big crowds and so on to be able to take place again. But hey, we're eager. We're looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And of course, following CDC guidance as well as other common sense approach these days, I think is very important as well. So I want to thank you for that. I'm also eager to have you back on the field. You guys do a top job in finding good partners to do business. And I don't think there's ever a mission that deals don't happen. Always a deal, always a good opportunity. Eduardo, I'd like to ask you, what is your most popular service that is provided? I'll tell you that I've used in the past the Gold Key service when I'm abroad for the one-on-one introductions and of course the appointments, and I got in-country appointments. And I tell you that it's fabulous because you facilitate the business that is necessary on a direct basis. Could you please go into that and also generally other popular services that are provided?
Absolutely, Roberto. And the best service that we provide is the partnerships that we have throughout the state with World Trade Center, with Enterprise Florida, with the South Florida DEC, with FIBA, with the Beacon Council, with Broward County. So we are always partnering in order to provide the best service possible to our export clients. The Gold Key service, which Manny mentioned during the trade missions, by the way, Enterprise Florida is the biggest user of the Gold Key service in the whole country. Is the service that we provide to do the matchmaking. So we do the vetting on both sides. We find from the company what specific goals they have in that market and what type of profile they are looking for in terms of either distributor, agent, or just a business partner. So our embassy receives this information. They request that we send this information 6 weeks prior to the company traveling to that country, especially during the trade missions. And they do the vetting, and they select the top 10 business partners. So the company goes, meet with them, and in a matter of 2 days, they can decide which one is the best partner for their company in that region or in that market. So that Gold Key service is the most popular service that we offer. But again, as I mentioned during my presentation, we just don't, or at least in our office, we don't want to be limited to a little box. We try to do whatever is it that the company is looking for, as long as we legally can do it. And if we cannot, then we look at partners like the AmChams in other countries and other institutions that work with directly with our U.S. Embassy in order to provide the service to the company. This is about providing the information so that the company is successful. As Manny mentioned, exporting creates jobs, good paying jobs, and economic development for our country. So that is our main function, our main goal in providing the services to the companies.
Thank you very much. I will tell you that last year I visited AmCham in Kosovo. I visited with the AmCham, which is the U.S. Chambers of Commerce in Albania, and they were fantastic in assisting and understanding the Balkans, as well as giving good information on the region as a whole. So sources of information are very important, and I can see, Eduardo, that you're keen on helping receive and obtain information that is critical for export and related business activities. So thank you for that. Daisy, I'd like to turn it over to you for a moment. And
Yes.
and the Florida Export Finance Corporation was created by the Florida legislator, I think in the mid-90s.
Yes, sir. We were created in 1993, created and funded by the state of Florida under the statute of the Florida Export Finance Corporation Act. And since 1993, we have been offering services and financing to the Florida community of exporters. The mandate stated for us to be able to contribute in the generation of income, an increase of income to Florida residents, and also supporting creation of jobs for Florida residents. When we provide the consulting and the financing and the advisory at the technical level, we are assisting small businesses to hire more people, to utilize our truckers and our brokers and our ports employees, our airport employees. And there's a whole industry that support Florida exporters in achieving the exportation of their products and or services. Not only we provide financing to Florida companies for the sake of exportation of products, we also support Florida companies for the exportation of services. And they may include hardware and software and engineering, surveying, legal, the hospitality industry, all that side of the services we also finance and support, as long as the services are being implemented and performed by U.S. talent. Very important. And it is a great program for Florida exporters. We're very proud of it. We're very honored to have former bankers and former credit insurance brokers working here in providing that service to the community.
That's fantastic. I will say that we're within our time, and I think there are going to be questions, which I'm going to look at now. Ivan, who is the president CEO of Enterprise Florida, who's also on, might want to throw a couple of questions, but I will say this. As a 40-year banker, as I mentioned before, I've worked out of the 40 years, 30 plus years at international banks and financing billions of dollars worth of economic activity out of the state of Florida. Our state of Florida really does depend on exports for our growth. Our state of Florida is a export-driven mentality of growth of not only population, but also from the international aspects of capital flight capital working to build. And so I'm very pleased to have three different points of view of capital from the Florida point of view, from the Washington, D.C. point of view, and then from the local aspect of why it's so important for our economic and our communities to have export opportunities discussed as well as highlighted in their business forum as well as their business plans. A small company should have a section in their business plan on thoughts of export, thoughts of new sources of material as well. As we know, the world is changing, and the trade and logistics routing is also under a change right now. And so there's a lot of things that are going on that one has to keep up with. Ivan, I don't know if you can hear me. I think you can.
Yes.
So I want to say thank you to the participants, first of all. This is, I think, a very nice seminar today for those that are listening. You know, one thing about food that's interesting is that we need classifications and approvals for food to be imported into this country, and there has to go through a certain qualification. But we're hosting a virtual platform on food, which for a human being, food means touching, feeling, smelling. It is the most principal, most basic aspect of a human being is food. And yet, because of COVID-19, our normal process of hosting a show has gone virtual, but I will say we've been successful. And so virtual is an interesting venue, and we're pleased to have some success there right now in this program. And Ivan, as we have about another good 10 minutes left, do you have questions?
No, we're good with the questions. Roberto, we're good with the questions. We took everybody's phone number. We're going to be calling them right after this. But we should be done right about now. Today it's about 12:45.
Okay.
Next session coming up at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Which is called Foods from Peru to the World. And it's going to be a presentation of Peruvian foods from 1 to 1:45. So I want to thank all of you for participating. This will be put up on our website and on the platform. So this program has been recorded, and it will be both on the platform for 2 weeks, and then we're going to move it over to the America's Food and Beverage website. And again, Eduardo, Manny, Roberto, and Daisy, thank you so much for your time and taking time to do this for us.
Excellent. Thank you all.